and maybe we'll save some for you. But first, we've got Brent Burks with the McMahon Law Firm joining us. And today, let's talk about workers' comp. Now, define workers' comp.
Thank you, James. My pleasure to be here. Workers' comp is basically a social contract, if you will, between the employer and the employee that covers people that are hurt on the job for certain injuries. And it came about over 100 years ago. In exchange, it was supposed to be easier to draw some benefits if you're hurt on the job, but in exchange, the benefits you can get are more limited as opposed to maybe in the tort system where there has to be a negligence proven. But there's been some big changes in the last year with the Governor Haslam administration in the workers' comp laws, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, but when it comes to being injured, what is an injured employee, employer, what is he entitled to?
The employee generally is entitled to the most important benefits, medical benefits, and you get to pick a treating doctor from a panel, and that doctor is going to have a lot to say so. Also some temporary disability benefits while that worker's out of work. Everything's based on 2/3 of your average weekly wage. So 2/3, and then if there's a permanent impairment, an injury that doesn't heal over time, then there can be some permanent disability benefits paid also.
Because that's what I was going to ask you, Brent. What if they can't go back to work? Where does that leave them?
Well, that's a very important consideration. Even with the changes we've had, the permanent total disability is what that indicates for a person that can't go back to any job, and hopefully that's rare, but it does happen. Those people, they get benefits that are tied to their Social Security retirement benefits. For me, it's age 67. There's a chart that's out there, and it depends on what your age is, but you get paid at 2/3 of your wage up until you're eligible for the Social Security benefits.
So when you say a chart, is that something that we can look at now, like online? Or
yes.
Okay.
Well, and you probably got a letter from the Social Security Administration saying when you're eligible, and everybody knows a number of years ago the age went up. It was 65, and now I'm 67 before I can, and maybe you too, James. So.
And it keeps going up.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That's just part of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me, how, like the changes that you just briefly mentioned just a few moments ago, in the last 7 or 8 months, or I guess the last 12 months, I mean, things have changed, and so it's important for us to know those changes, right?
Absolutely. Big changes happened effective July 1st of 14, so really a year ago, but now the cases are just now getting in the pipeline. We used to have a system where we'd go to court on everything. Now it's completely handled in the Tennessee Department of Labor. And there are other significant changes. It's actually much harder for injured employees to get their benefits. The standard is a little tougher. It's described as it has to primarily arise out of the employment, and it can hurt some folks that have a pre-existing degenerative type change, et cetera. The treating doctor is very important in that because the treating doctor's opinion is presumed to be correct. And so I encourage people to, contact a qualified lawyer to help them with that selection, if nothing else.
And we've got about 30 seconds because that's where I kind of want to home in on to wrap this thing up. If we get hurt on the job, I mean, it's pretty important to contact the lawyer, right?
Absolutely. Less lawyers are involved now because of the way the system's changed and the benefits are less, but the statistics now are that the folks that are unrepresented are losing more than half of their cases, and that's staggering, and it's not meant to be that way. At least get a qualified lawyer to look at it. It should be no charge. Call us at the McMahon Law Firm, 265-1100. We'll look at it, no charge, and we can definitely help.
And there's the information on your screen. Brent Burks with the McMahon Law Firm. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us. Some interesting stuff.
As always, thank you.
And there you go, their website and their telephone number if you had the opportunity to jot that down. All right, coming up, we're going to be talking about sharks. Ding, 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 ding. And we've got some live sharks in the studio. I can't wait to, well, they're not that big. That's a big one right there. Stay right where you are. We'll be right back.